I'm Judy Green.
And I'm Richard Norton.
And we're going to welcome you to NATCH Chat, and our topic today is bullying.
And Judy, what an important topic. I mean, you cannot pick up a newspaper these days with without some article about bullying in the schoolyard, in the workplace, and I think it's something society really needs to be looking at. So it's going to be great to have a discussion about this.
Yes, and our special guest today is Con Lazos from Fusion Fitness.
Thank you, Judy. Thank you, Richard.
Hi, Con. Good to have you here.
Great to be here. Thanks for letting me come on the show today. Obviously, bullying is very prevalent in the schoolyard. A lot of the teachers are not sure what to do with kids that are bullying. Parents are not sure what to do with their kids when they're being bullied. I just heard a story this morning of a family getting up and shifting because one of their children was bullying the other child next door.
May I just butt in there, because I know you had a first-hand experience when you were a child. Could you share that with the viewers?
Yeah, absolutely. So for myself, it all started when I was very young. Obviously, every child sees some form of bullying one way or another, and what one child feels is bullying and what another one feels is bullying is two totally different things. For mine, it was a bit of a weird kind of thing. Basically, I was born in Australia, but when my parents went back to Greece, the homeland, I was about 5 years old. When I went to Greece, even though I've got a Greek background, both my parents are Greek, I was not really accepted in Greece in the school I went to, because I couldn't speak Greek at the time. I could only speak English. It was a really weird sensation, whereas my background is Greek, but they're calling me what they call kangaroo-tha, so basically a kangaroo. It wasn't about being Australian or so on. So basically from day one, I was labelled as something different to what what I felt I was. I felt like I was Greek background. I was born in Australia, but at the end of the day, I was coming back to where my parents came from. So that was an interesting thing.
And there's another part to the story. Then you decided to come back to Australia, didn't you?
Yeah, so that went for about 6 years down there, and I just couldn't sort of shake it off. And I felt like while I was in Greece, it's like, well, if I'm getting called that I'm more Australian than I'm Greek, how about I want to go back to Australia? So I was begging my parents for about a year, can we please go back to Australia, because I don't feel like this is home. I feel like Australia's home, let alone that I was born in Australia. So basically, I asked my parents' permission to basically come back on my own with a couple of family friends and just live with my godfather and give it a go in Australia. And when I came to Australia, it was exactly the same thing. I came to Australia, and as a primary school student, I couldn't speak English, and I had forgotten because we were going to live in Greece. And all of a sudden, I was a Greek walk boy, and what are you doing in our country?
Aww.
So it was like I felt like a lost sensation between countries, like where do I belong?
So Con, obviously what we know is there's all different definitions of bullying.
Yeah.
So you're really saying there was an incredible racial aspect to the bullying that you experienced, right?
Yeah. Well, it all really stemmed from that, and I guess what some of the kids do wrong is they get upset very easily when something like that does happen. It's like, hang on, I feel like I belong here, but you're telling me I belong somewhere else, but I've made a conscious decision to be here. So yeah, there's the physical bullying, and then there's the mental bullying, and out of that, then you can break it down in so many different ways. And I guess one person to be made to feel like they don't belong somewhere, that's a really big part, where you don't feel like you should be in that place. Like, where should I be if I shouldn't be here? Yeah, so the racial bullying is very prevalent. And I think it's even more so outside of Australia than it is in Australia.
And again, that would be a definition, obviously, of psychological bullying, as opposed
absolutely.
to the physical, let's beat this kid up, let's throw rocks at him and everything. But the whole mental stress of it is just as bad, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, at the end of the day, the physical bullying, it has got a start and a stop. Whereas the mental bullying, that plays in your head all day long. And it's like, how am I going to go to school tomorrow? How am I going to try and get along with these kids? And how am I going to try and actually be one of the group? Because there's no child that wants to be on their own. Every child wants to belong to a part of a group. I guess that's why some kids stray off and becoming gangs and all that kind of stuff. It's not like they know that that's the right thing to do. They just, I might just join that because I'll have some protection around me. So it's that can go many different ways.
So had you and then when did you start getting finding a way to build your confidence up. You went through this at school, and then how did you feel? You were at year 12.
Well, when I came back to Australia, I couldn't understand the concept of basically picking on somebody just as a joke. We all know what it's like, sit around the barbecue and you'll basically, take the piss out of each other, basically. So, and it's fine. They can throw things forwards and backwards because they know they're in a safe environment. But like when you're stepping into that and you just don't understand, why would someone be mentioning something about whatever it is that they're going to be talking about? It's like, why couldn't you just be nice and adult about it? Well, if you don't know what that culture is like, then there can be problems, like, so people coming from overseas, if they're coming in here and they're going, well, I'm here to like have a good job, go to school, learn something. I didn't come here to get picked on with all this other extra stuff. So you might not know how to deal with it. And obviously, like in a lot of countries overseas, the way to deal with things is just to like straight out go into violence.
Physical.
Now, just on that point, because we really have to go for a break, and I have some more questions around that, so excuse us, and we'll be back after the break.
That's great.
So you are watching Richard Norton and Judy Green, and our guest is Con Lazos from Fusion Martial Arts. I said fitness before, so we'll see you in a minute.